I gotta stay like this. Can you make the Zoom?
Yeah, I did the Zoom and then this one too. Let's see register.
Yeah, look. Can you see it when I do this? Yeah, Chris, I'm sweating. Like, not this is what it's showing them.
Which one's this one?
Right here?
This yes.
Okay. So you're gonna make me. You're gonna make me the host. Actually, can you exit out?
Exit out to a Zoom.
No, actually, no, keep it.
It's a busy day, right? It's a busy day. I know that. How you are very busy.
No matter what boards that they do there. From outside, Nancy, go.
What time is that? 1 second.
How are you?
Whenever you're Thank you. I'm sorry about that. Thank you.
Ready? Is everybody ready?
Yes, everything is up.
Ready? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Inglewood Cliffs Mayor and Council regular meeting. Today is February 11th, 2026. Now time is 6:33. I call this meeting to order. And okay, flag salute. Okay. Please rise for the flag salute and remain standing for 2 minutes of silence. It is with a deep sadness that we acknowledge the passing of Joseph C. Favaro, a former elected officer, U.S. Veteran, and longtime public servant who dedicated nearly 50 years of service to the borough of Inglewood Cliffs, and Richard Hushman, Sr., who served as a volunteer fireman in Inglewood Cliffs for over 25 years. Let's have a flag salute first together.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The moment of silence, 2 minutes. Okay, thank you, everyone. Sit down, please. Okay, Madam Clerk, would you read our open public meeting statement, please?
Sure, ma'am. This meeting was called pursuant to the provision of the Open Public Meeting Act, PL 1975, Chapter 231. Notice of this meeting was included in a notice sent to Star Ledger, The Record, and the Herald News on January 5, 2026, and published on January 9, 2026. Posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building and has remained continuously posted as required notice under the statute. Copies of the above mentioned notice are available to the public and on file in the office of municipal clerk.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please roll call.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Here.
Councilman Patel,
Present, yes.
Councilman Kapseskis,
Here.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis.
Absent, he has a personal matters.
Okay, Councilman Katrubis is absent.
Okay,
For the
thank-
record, Mayor Park, Borough Administrator, Mr. Chaudhary, Borough Attorney, Mr. Ferraro, and department heads are in attendance.
Okay, thank you. For the public information, we are currently holding tonight's meeting in a hybrid format. We have people in person and via Zoom. That is also live stream on YouTube. If our Wi-Fi at the council chambers has an issue where the Zoom meeting drops, we will aim to retrieve the connection to continue the meeting. Okay, next agenda is proclamation. And
Mayor, we need a motion second to excuse the
yeah.
absence of Councilman Katrubis.
Motion.
Motion.
any second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Patel, seconded by Councilman Liang. Roll call.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Here.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapseskis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, next agenda is a proclamation. The borough will present a proclamation at this meeting honoring Mrs. Marinucci. She served our borough almost 25 years. Really, she worked hard, and we're going to honor her. And why don't you read about proclamation?
I have it.
You have it?
I have
Okay,
right here.
please read it.
This proclamation is awarded to Ms. Fran Marinuzzi. The Borough of Englewood Cliffs did have this on the record last year, at the end of last year. However, unfortunately, Ms. Marinuzzi could not be with us, and we are trying to honor her and her family for a career of 25 years. So the proclamation reads as follows: whereas Ms. Fran Marinuzzi faithfully served the Borough of Englewood Cliffs for 25 years, providing exceptional support, commitment to the administration and Department of Public Works. And whereas Ms. Marinuzzi is a lifelong resident of Englewood Cliffs, whose deep roots in the community have strengthened her passion for serving its residents and employees. And whereas throughout her 25 years of service, Ms. Marinuzzi has been recognized as a dedicated, reliable, and compassionate employee, consistently going above and beyond and supporting the men and operations of the Department of Public Works. And whereas her professionalism, institutional knowledge, and unwavering willingness to help have made her an invaluable member of the borough workforce and as a trusted resource for both staff and community members alike. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Mark M. Park, Mayor of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs, along with the members of the Borough Council, hereby honor and commend Ms. Fran Marinuzzi for her 25 years of outstanding service, dedication, and loyalty to the borough, and be it further proclaimed that the borough expresses its deepest appreciation for her contributions, recognizing her as an exemplary employee whose work has positively impacted the entire community. At this time, we ask Mark Neville, DPW Superintendent, and the Fran Marinuzzi and the entire family to join the mayor. the entire family can get in. We can have folks take the photo for you. Anybody a part of Fran's family, please join for the photo. Mark, why don't you get in? Does anybody have a phone? Does anybody have a phone that they take pictures? One moment, please.
Next item is also appointment. I need a motion and the second to approve resolution 2026-77.
That's a motion.
And
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Yes. Roll call.
Roll call. Okay.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yeah.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskas,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katubis absent. Motion carries.
Any discussion? Anyone?
No, that one already passed.
Yeah.
That is
So you're gonna ask before, after first, when they make motion and second, then ask any discussion,
Yeah.
then roll call.
Yes. So.
So
anybody-
this is good.
Okay.
So now,
You don't need it. Okay, now I need a motion and second to approve resolution 2026-78. I need a motion.
Motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
motion by Councilman Liang, seconded by Councilman Patel. On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
No, wait. Any discussion?
Is there any
You wanna-
discussion?
Any discussion first?
Yeah,
Okay, any
and
discussion first?
Any discussion on resolution 2026-78, resolution rescinding resolution number 2026-18 and appointing Ferozvi Associates Incorporated to serve as financial consultant for the Borough of Englewood Cliffs. Yeah, we did the first one already.
Any discussion?
Maybe you
Okay.
want to explain?
Yeah, Bob, do you want to just?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, previously, Mr. Busa was appointed as the CFO. We were waiting for,
It's not open.
confirmation from the state to accept, the,
Private entity application.
private entity application of Ferozzi Associates. Since the last meeting, we did get that approval, and so what they required us to do was to first amend the resolution for Mr. Busa it had to be for 1 year, and then to rescind the previous resolution for Mr. Ferozzi, for Ferozzi Associates, and to amend, to appoint, to do a new resolution appointing Ferozzi Associates to serve as the CFO for 1 year. And we have a third resolution that's coming up next, which is essentially to rescind a previous resolution, to authorize the execution of an agreement so that Ferozzi Associates will take over as the CFO. It has to be done this way because in the past month, Mr. Busa has had
Yes.
accessibility to the state website, and we needed to confirm that approval. So we're doing these three ordinances to conform with what the state has directed us to do.
Okay, thank you. Any further question or any discussion? Okay.
You turn on your mic.
There's 4 items, they connected with each other, right?
Yeah.
Can we vote together? or
No, no, one by one.
One by one, okay. All right.
Okay. Then no more for question and roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis is absent. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion and a second to approve resolution 2026-79. Any discussion?
I'll read the
First
resolution
reading.
into the record. Resolution rescinding resolution number 2026-18 and appointing Ferozzi and Associates to serve as temporary chief financial officer for the Borough of Englewood Cliffs for 1 year through February 10th, 2027. Any discussion?
Any
We
discussion?
need a motion.
Oh,
and
motion second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Liang, second by Councilman Patel.
Okay.
Any discussion?
Any discussion? Okay, Bob, you want to explain?
We just did.
Oh,
We
you
explained
did.
it already.
Okay,
You can go ahead, Mayor. Ask for roll call.
Okay,
Roll call.
and then we're gonna roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis is absent. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Next item is I need a motion and second to approve resolution 2026-89.
80.
80.
80. I'm sorry.
Mhm. No problem.
Okay, any discussion?
So,
Make a motion.
resolution,
Motion by Councilman Liang, second by Councilman Patel. The resolution that has been motioned is Resolution 2026-80, resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement for the termination of Richard Busa as Chief Financial Officer and returning Rich Busa to the position of Assistant Chief Financial Officer through October 17, 2028. Any discussion?
Any discussion? No? Then roll call, please.
on roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. I need a motion and second to approve resolution 2026-81. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kapsaskis, second by Councilman Patel. The resolution that has been motioned was Resolution 2026-81, resolution appointing Christine Rosado and Jason Robinson as senior camp directors for the Englewood Cliffs Summer Camp Program. Any discussion?
Any discussion? No? Okay, then roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Next agenda is each department head report. Admin, Mr. Intishan Chowdhury, would you start? First?
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and Council, and good evening to the members of the public. First, want to congratulate, first and foremost, Chief Hankelman on being installed as the Bergen County Police Chiefs Association President, members of the governing body, as well as municipal staff. We thank you for thinking of us and inviting us to share in your historic occasion, and we look forward to you representing our municipality honorably as you always do. With that being said, we had quite a productive month in Englewood Cliffs. We at this like any start of the year, from finance to engineering to a lot of other projects and coordinating professionals. The first 2 months, as it is at the end of the year, there's a lot of changes and goal setting. So there's a lot of things that we need to do administratively to get things in order. And I'm pleased to say a lot of the paperwork that we've done or we needed to do in terms of professional services contracts, as well as turning over our budget, we were able to do that throughout the month of January. Moreover, we're pleased to announce to the members of the public that for Englewood Cliffs actually now has a comprehensive notification system platform that we actually was able to pilot during the recent snowstorm. And it's available in the Google and Apple Play stores for free. It's My EC Cliffs. So it's push notifications to the mobile app with applets that are going to be directed to our new website and quick links in terms of quick links. And then also we will be able to do a notification system via email via like we did with Constant Contact, reversed 911, as well as text message blasts. Our OEM and key department heads, they have access to it to do notifications as they see fit. And then we're also going to tie in a workflow for the public to be able to accomplish municipal business in 2 clicks or less if they so choose to do so. So we're excited about this platform. Obviously, like anything else that the borough works on, it's a work in progress, and we're basically we welcome feedback in order to improve the service. And I know some of the residents and homeowners have reached out. It's a together item in order to make it more serviceable for the public. With that being said, I will reserve some of my comments for later on, because there are some department heads that are not here that I would comment on. But pretty much on our consent agenda, we do have some items on here that I'd like to just quickly touch base on without taking away from any of the departments. And we are appointing 3 additional professionals that essentially we didn't get the opportunity to do so at the reorganization meeting. The last resolution of the reorganization meeting, if you recall, we did a resolution to authorize the advertisement of RFPs for 2026 professionals part 2 that either did not submit a proposal or basically we did not feel comfortable, and we reserved the right to go back out to the street in order to receive proposals. That process was overseen by our QPA, and as such, we basically are making those appointments as well. And other than that, I have nothing further, Mayor, to comment, and I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And next, Bob, Borough Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
There are several items on the agenda this evening that I wanted to just discuss at this point. There are a group of what's going on here?
No, don't worry. I got it.
There are 3 ordinances related to affordable housing, and there's also a resolution authorizing me to execute a consent order with fair share. The resolution, along with the ordinances, implementing ordinances, will lead toward our certification of compliance and protect the borough from further litigation and builders' remedies. There's an affordable housing ordinance, which is based on a model issued by the DCA. That model ordinance was only issued by the DCA less than 2 weeks ago, and since they issued it, they amended it 3 times. So our planner has been working quickly. In about 6 days, he had to complete the ordinance that we need to have adopted before the March 15th deadline. There are also 2 ordinances to create overlay zones, Zone C and Zone D, and these ordinances implement our obligation to conform with our housing element and fair share plan. Mr. Mistretta, our planner, is here, and he's going to speak on all these items, and these ordinances also have been modified recently to address some comments from the planning board. Overall, Mayor and members of the governing body, I must commend Mr. Mistretta for the hard work he did. Mr. Mistretta's work was very insightful, and he gave us a good path towards resolution of our 4th round obligations in a way that is least detrimental to the borough. So if Mr. Mistretta can come forward and speak on the consent order and the 3 ordinances that the council will consider.
Thank you. Michael Mistretta, the borough's professional planner, in charge of primarily affordable housing matters. I'm going to be very brief tonight, only because I'm not trying to skip over anything, but there's another hearing, just so everybody in the public is aware. After tonight, should everything go well and the council introduce the ordinances, there is a planning board meeting tomorrow night on these ordinances. So there's another public hearing, and then should everything go well tomorrow night, at the next council meeting in, I believe it's March 11th, there's yet another public hearing on these ordinances. So there's a lot, I don't want to, so I'm going to go into a lot more detail tomorrow night at the planning board meeting and the next council meeting. But just a quick overview of what we're doing tonight. June of last year, the township adopted its fourth round amended housing element and fair share plan. It was adopted by the planning board, endorsed by the council. We submitted it to DCA. We've met all of our fourth round obligations. In August 29th, we received one fair challenge from Fair Share Housing Center. We've addressed those comments by October 30th, and then we had a period of time where we worked on a consent order and the ordinances that are being introduced this evening. There's two main ordinances, Overlay C and Overlay D. The highlights of these ordinances are there are no significant changes to the borough's fourth round housing element and fair share plan as it was adopted in June of 2025. We have no expansion, no addition, or no extension of the affordable housing mechanisms. We have no increase or decrease in the density for the multifamily units. What these two ordinances do is put an overlay in two areas of the town, identified as C, Overlay C, and Overlay D. I do have handouts I'm going to leave here tonight if anybody wants to see the exact areas, properties identified by lot and block. It's also, I believe, on our website. And just to be very clear, everything I'm talking about is already part of our housing element and fair share plan. Nothing has changed from what was adopted last summer. Major highlights of the ordinance that are being introduced tonight are it's an overlay that allows 20 units an acre with a 20% set aside for multifamily development. The most significant edit in the ordinance from last summer to tonight is at the recommendation that was made during those meetings was we eliminated the mixed use option. So it only allows for the multifamily, not the mixed use option in addition. The ordinances have also allow everything that's in the B2 and the B4 zones today to remain uninterrupted. So any developer, any property owner in any one of these zones who wants nothing to do with multifamily development and only wants to continue their existing commercial uses in the B2 and the B4 zone can do so without any interruption. We're not impacting them whatsoever. There are some minor tweaks to the area, yard, and bulk requirements on the impervious coverage and the building coverage, again, as recommended from feedback from the council and the planning board. Building heights don't change. It was previously 35 feet. It's 35 feet today. We have buffer requirements that are consistent with the underlying zoning in the B2 and B4. We did not increase the buffers. We did not decrease the buffers. We are consistent with what's allowed, the buffers that are required in the underlying zoning today. There are a lot more other standards, which I'll go into more detail at the public public hearing on building and architectural standards, infrastructure improvements, green building designs, and climate resiliency, with the focus on stormwater management and localized flooding, which was a major issue when I introduced this document in the summer. We listened to all of the feedback from the residents from the area, the homeowners that are behind these properties that have this overlay regarding reforestation, reduction of impervious coverage, improving stormwater management, and reforesting the rear portion of these properties to provide a buffer between the homeowners and the properties in these overlays. Should everything be adopted on March 11th, there's a deadline of March 15th. It's a statewide deadline, so every municipality in New Jersey is dealing with the same issue that we have tonight as far as getting our ordinances in place. And under the law, we have to do this by March 15th. And then within 30 days, we have to report all of these documents that have been adopted to Fair Share Housing Center. When we do submit these to Fair Share Housing Center, there will be a cover letter or a report from myself or my firm identifying the changes between these ordinances and our housing element and fair share plan. Like I said, we eliminated the mixed use option, and I want to clarify that and be fully transparent when we submit these documents to Fair Share Housing. And I'm also going to highlight some of these other changes I quickly touched upon tonight so that they're fully aware of it. That may or may not require an amendment or a revision to the consent order that's on your agenda tonight or the housing element and fair share plan. If it does, we will address those items in the future. But again, because this very tight deadline, we just got comments back on January 27th, and we had to have these ordinances available to the public and published and released by February 6th. So we had 6 to 7 business days for this turnaround, and it's very important that we meet these deadlines to maintain our immunity and to maintain our compliance with our 4th round housing plan. So that's my presentation tonight. Again, there'll be a much more detailed presentation at the planning board tomorrow evening and at the public comment period on March 11th.
Quick question, if I may.
Sure, please.
You said the main thing that was changed was the elimination of the multi-use?
Mixed use.
Mixed use, I'm sorry.
Yeah, mixed use.
What's, again, in very, very short terms, what's the reasoning for that?
Sure, it's a great question. When we originally proposed it, we had the mixed use like we did in the 3rd round. In the 3rd round, there's 3 tiers known as the B3 overlay, Hudson Terrace overlay, and the East Palisade Avenue overlay that allows multifamily development to be constructed. In that case, it's 19 units an acre, and you got a bonus density of 24 units an acre if you constructed a mixed use structure and not just multifamily. When we presented our 4th round plan, we originally had that, and it is in our 4th round housing plan as an option to do that on these 2 areas also. However, after discussions with the borough, feedback from the council, from the planning board, from the subcommittee meeting, the overwhelming opinion was we already have 3 areas in our, let's call it our downtown, for lack of a better word, where we allowed a mixed use. So you could either do multifamily or mixed use already in 3 significant areas in our downtown. And these C and D areas back up to the residents, which is a distinct difference from the other ones. So the idea was, let's keep these just as multifamily. We did not change the density. It was 20, it is 20 units an acre. The set aside was 20, it is today 20. We eliminated the option that you could do the mixed use. To be very clear, if somebody wants nothing to do with multifamily and they just want to continue their commercial business, that is their right, uninterrupted in any of these zones.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I've continue I have some other items, Mayor, if I may.
Before you go, and Mr. Mistretta will be here for the public portion for members of the public if they have questions.
So we've had continuing questions from the public about the escrow that has been past due on the we understand that there is discussion, and I don't know to what extent it has happened yet, that there is a merger between the applicant and the hospital on this project, and the applicant has sent a letter to the planning board, as I understand it, seeking an extension of their approvals. The matter is within the jurisdiction of the planning board at this time, and there may be discussion of the extension and the payment of the escrows at that time. The Chaffee application that We had a hearing last year, middle of the year, I can't remember the date, but the applicant, I think as I reported at the last meeting, has submitted revised plans. Those plans have been posted on the website. They've been shared with the members of the planning board and our professionals. And Fair Share is also involved in this hearing. They requested that the matter not be presented back to the court until this affordable housing round is completed, because everyone's tied up with the affordable housing round. So I anticipate that sometime in April there'll be further hearings scheduled on this. There is a tax appeal, resolution to approve a tax appeal on the Canopco Unilever, 800 Sylvan Avenue. This matter was in court. There was discussion and mediation. Our assessor was present along with our appraiser, and I think our business administrator was also present at that time.
And Councilman Liang.
And Councilman Liang. One of the problems with the litigation is that about 2/3 of the site was assessed as laboratory, and it hasn't been used as laboratory. The square footage assessment on laboratory is substantially greater than the assessment for what is claimed to be used by the applicant. Because these matters are very, they're in the hands of the judge, and you don't know exactly what the judge would do. Their appraisals were far apart from ours, but the resolution is proposed this evening. The applicant's withdrawing their appeal for 22 and 23. There's a reduction in the assessment for 24 from 47,223 to 3120, from 47,223.3 to 31,24.7. In 25, that same assessment goes to 22,701,600, and in 26, the assessment 26, 27, and 28 goes to 26,96,300. All in all, for the past years, that assessment will require a payment refund that we're proposing to make of $283,166.64, and the applicant would receive, the property owner would receive a credit of $200,000 on the next due assessments. All in all, the appraiser and our assessor and our tax appeal attorney highly recommend that the board approve this matter in the best interest of the borough. We've spoken to our CFO, and we understand that we have about $1 million in tax appeal money set aside in our budget, so we were well prepared for these tax appeals, and we have already budgeted for them. Let's see, there's one other item is Fifth Street. I know there's been a lot of discussion about Fifth Street. Mr. Chowdhury and I and our engineers have had several meetings about Fifth Street. Fifth Street is being, the engineering work is being done on Fifth Street to come up with a final plan. And at that point, a cost estimate would come about, at which time we will talk about how an assessment will apply to property owners on Fifth Street to see how the cost would be shared. But that's ongoing, but I assure you, it's been, governing body has been requesting that matter proceed with all due speed. That's my report, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Bob. And the next engineering company. Okay, would you do that, please?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is David Carval. I'm with Fastec Engineering, professional engineer here. Report, keep it short. First of all, we're working on a grant, the LRIC grant for upgrade, renovation to the tennis court in the Johnson Park. That's the first item.
The second item is Gilmore Engineering sent a letter to the construction official, Gino, regarding the sewer upgrade repairs. So they mentioned it, they want to start working and soon about the emergency repair along Hudson Terrace. The first one, and the second part of it will be coordinated with the council, hopefully by the March meeting. They'll submit that. Besides that, we worked with some of the residents on some of their home applications. We had a couple of residents' plans review and inspection. And that's it. If there's any more questions.
Okay, thank you so much.
David, can you just talk a little bit about the road improvements for the mayor and council? Just clearing up past grants and then also the ongoing work with Mark Neville and stuff.
Yes. So talk to Mark Neville. I'm going to meet with him next week regarding choosing the list of streets, possible street for the yearly project for the roadway improvements. And we're also working on the plans to see the previous projects that are already were applied already and submitted to NJDOT. There's a few, the end of Floyd, the few projects that we're trying to basically make sure they're closing the old ones, and we're actually moving forward with some of the existing plans that were started already by some of the previous engineers, so we can proceed with them.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much. Now, finance department. Okay, sure.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Recently, we submitted the borough's annual debt statement, and our debt limit, our debt percentage came in at just under 0.8%. To put that in perspective, the law allows for the municipality to have a debt limit of up to 3.5% of your average ratables, which for the borough of Englewood Cliffs, it's just under $4.2 billion. So we are way under our debt limit, roughly 22% of the debt limit, and while taking major capital improvements over the last few years. So that's a good percentage to reference. Secondly, the number of tax appeal resolutions that are on the agenda that Bob mentioned. We started reserving money for tax appeals throughout the budget process. Over the last 3 years, we had reserved approximately $1.6 million. Over the last 3 years, we have also used $400,000, so your current balance is just around $1.2 million. So paying these tax appeal refunds will not have any negative impact on your budget and or surplus. It's a good practice to have, and we suggest doing that in the coming budget years. Lastly, we'll be beginning our budget sessions with the department heads and the finance committee, and I'll update those in the next council meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Any? Okay. Police department, Chief Hankman, please come out.
Chief, you want to turn on your mic? Good evening. Chief, you want to just press the button on the side until it turns green. Hold on to it.
Test.
Yep. Got it. Go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. First of all, I'd just like to take a moment to wish everyone celebrating in the coming days here on the dais and in the audience watching at home a happy Ramadan and a happy Lunar New Year. Again, thank you for mentioning my installation dinner. I very much appreciate all of you who took time out of your busy schedules to be there to celebrate with my family and I, as well as my guys that are here tonight. Thank you very much. Your attendance meant a great deal to me. And more importantly, I hope everybody had a good time that night. A couple noteworthy matters. The borough will be receiving a $2,902 body armor replacement grant. I'd like to thank Officer Ramis for his hard work on that. That should cover at least the purchase of two new pieces of body armor. Officer Ramis, thank you for that. Back in September, we had a high-end SUV stolen. I'm pleased to report that after a long investigation, detectives were able to identify a suspect and a criminal warrant has been issued. So several months in the making, but we should have somebody in custody, or charges pending in that case as well. So detectives have been doing some great work. The snowstorm on January 25th, got almost 16 inches of snow. There were no major public safety issues that came out of that storm, at least related to the police. I want to thank and compliment Superintendent Neville and his staff. Well done in the face of a really tough storm. Probably the worst one we've had in a long time, so good job, Mark. The drainage project on Palisade Avenue, that started on the 14th and that wrapped up in pretty short order. It was done by the 23rd. There were minimal issues related to traffic as a byproduct of that work. Actually, the past few days they've been back on Palisade Avenue just doing a little bit of housekeeping. But again, no major traffic issues as a result of that. So I'm sure, Mark, you have some more context on that? Yeah, okay. We have some community events coming up, hopefully in the spring. I've been working with Administrator Chowdhury on bringing back the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission mobile unit. We had really good turnout with that last year, so I think we're going to increase that to 2 events this year, and we'll take it from there and probably expand on that even further in 2027. So we're trying to calendar 2 dates for 2026. Finally, I just want to bring to everybody's attention one of our officers who is very ill, Captain Wicker. I'm going to ask that everybody on the dais and in the room and in the audience at home keep Captain Wicker in your prayers. He's very ill, as I mentioned, and he's currently hospitalized. He's been serving this town and the residents for over 25 years. He's touched many people with his larger-than-life personality, his good nature, and his friendly smile. And many of you know him best probably from his regular presence at community events and volunteering countless hours, volunteering at community events in his adopted town. He's had a great career. He's ascended to the 2nd highest ranking officer in the department. And aside from being the 2nd highest ranking officer in the department, he spent a lot of time with the DEA, and during his years at the DEA brought in millions of dollars to this town. So like I said, he's very ill. He needs our prayers now more than ever. He's not only my academy mate, my coworker, he's my friend, and he is a beloved figure within the police department and this town. Again, please keep him in your prayers along with his wife and his 2 young children. That's all I have.
Any question? Okay. We are sorry about to hear that about the captain case, and we are praying for him. And also one more time, we are congratulate your nomination of the president of the Bergen County Police Chief Association. And the next OEM department, please come out.
Good evening, everybody. I don't have much, and I don't want to repeat anything, just going over the app. The only thing I would add to that is that Nixle has been discontinued, so as we switched over to My Cliffs, you're not going to be able to use Nixle anymore. So we're going to just update the website probably the end of this week. That'll get done. But if anybody is subscribing to that, just know that you won't be getting anything from that anymore. I also started the Facebook page. Obviously, anything with OEM, the best tool we have is communications. So anything we can do to get messages out, the app as well as social media, that's why that has been implemented. The HMP, the Hazard Mitigation Plan, has been approved. We're kind of ahead of the curve because we did the resolution 2 months ago, but I just got notification today that we can go ahead and do the resolution, but that's already done. So we are good there. And the last thing is pending at the state level is Assembly Bill 6075, which goes back to the EMS coverage. My understanding is that has been approved at the one level. It's got to go to the governor's office, and probably within the next couple of months, we will be required to have EMS coverage. I don't know what that means. Does it mean you just have an MOU with the local hospital saying they'll come when you call them? Or if it means you have to have an ambulance in town, I don't know yet. But hopefully by next month I'll have more information. That's why everything with EMS has kind of come to a standstill. We were running full speed ahead with that agreement, and then we heard this state level law was coming down the pike. And that's not just for us, that's every town or every incorporated city, town, borough in the state of New Jersey is going to have some kind of EMS coverage. And again, I don't know what that means when they say coverage, but I'll know more next month. Any questions? Cool, thank you.
Anyone? Thank you. Now, you want to cover about the fire regulation?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay.
This report was submitted on behalf of Chief Andrew Nikow, who couldn't be with us this evening, but gives his regards to members of the governing body, members of the public. To the point of PD and OEM, who I also want to commend to Department of Public Works, OEM, and the fire department, from standby services to, the storm operations to PD being there. We received the highest accumulated amount of snow in North Jersey, about like 16.3 inches, if I'm not mistaken, and we did not miss a beat in terms of notifying things to our residents. DPW working through the best conditions that they possibly could, and including our fire department. I see our fire company president here, President Chaffee. Thank you so much for your standby services with Chief Nikow. But pretty much for the notable operations for the month of February 2026, Chief Nikow reported that there was a multi-alarm commercial structure fire on Broad Avenue, Palisades Park. Our tower, ladder truck, and personnel were requested to assist Palisades Park Fire Department and mutual aid partners. The members operated at approximately 10 hours in outdoor temperatures near 0 degrees Fahrenheit. There was a high-angle rescue at the PIP, where the fire department's high-angle rescue team was deployed to recover an individual in a high-risk location. The personnel worked for approximately 6 hours on ice and snow-covered cliffs in temperatures around 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Weather-related emergencies, the fire department responded to numerous incidents involving frozen bursts and water pipes and other storm-related calls. During the most recent snow event that we had, members maintained a 24-hour standby operations at the firehouse, and they handled emergency responses. As far as training and development, the department is currently conducting focused training on firefighting operations and multifamily residential buildings of lightweight wood frame construction, reflecting recent development trends in the community, and training is underway for commercial structure fires. Additionally, 2 members will begin the Bergen County Fire Academy basic training program at the end of this month. As a reminder from the fire department, they respectfully remind residents that property owners are responsible for keeping fire hydrants or adjacent that are on or adjacent to their property clear of snow and ice. During the recent snowstorm and storms in general, fire department personnel spent considerable amount of time clearing hydrants to ensure accessibility during emergencies. We greatly appreciate the community's assistance in performing this important safety risk. An upcoming community event that we encourage everyone to attend. The fire department is partnering with the Parent-Teacher Association for joint pancake breakfast fundraiser on Sunday, March 22nd, 2026. It's the first collaborative event between the 2 organizations, and it's a meaningful opportunity for members and local families and children to gather for a good cause. The flyer will be circulated to my office as well as the borough clerk, and we'll share it with the rest of the community. And as always, the fire department is accessible should anybody have any questions. And so that's the extent of Chief Nikow's report, Mayor.
Okay, or recreation department?
Yeah.
Why don't you do that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
As far as the recreation report, and our recreation director Dan Dubelman gives his regards. He could not be here with us this evening. The rec department has been working on or has been overseeing multiple programs across all age groups. This winter, 124 students participated in the K-8 basketball program that was supported by a growing cheerleading partnership that enhanced youth involvement and community spirit. And I do want to shout out our youth coaches our cheerleading coaches that have volunteered their time and spearheading that program. Summer camp planning is underway. As you know, we spent a little bit of time earlier, or we're planning in advance by appointing our summer camp senior camp directors, who is coordinating the expanded age-appropriate programming. They're working with the Board of Health to ensure compliance and safety, and they will be focused on creating a more efficient staffing model. So we won't go through what we went through last year. In essence, what I'm pleased to report, and I'd like to shout out Superintendent Dr. Brower, as well as the school business administrator, Juliana Ortiz, and the entire Board of Education. In a meeting with them, they discussed allowing another alternative location, but in essence, in return, this year's summer camp will have additional classroom space. So we go from, like, I believe 3 classrooms to about 7. And in addition, for the final week, instead of being in that area, because the school has to get ready for, the new school year, so the custodial is working overdrive to get things ready, they said you can go into the gym for an extra week. So the camp goes from 5 weeks to 6 weeks, and it actually is quite helpful to our parents and of our community that's looking for childcare during the summer as they work. So we really do thank our partnership with the Board of Education for thinking about that. Additionally, we're working on a new back-end software in terms of scheduling, use of facility requests, as well as signing up for programs. And we're moving away from Community Pass by the end of the month, and we're going to be launching Edmunds GovTech, which is aligns with finance. And it's going to basically it's going to go live during the end of the month, and it's going to be in conjunction with the summer camp registration to pilot it out. But it's going to be a little bit easier because whatever's collected and whatever's happening, that report is going to go straight into finance. So it's creating a centralized system instead of having multiple softwares. The recreation department is working with Mid-Bergen Regional Health, which services us in terms of health services, to deliver community health and wellness programs, such as addressing chronic disease management, fall prevention, and fitness, including a new daytime walking program to better serve the residents. That is pretty much the extent of the report. And if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them on behalf of the rec department.
Any question? No? Okay, thank you. Next, building department. Gino, please come out.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to let you know, with the cold, the building in the borough has been struggling. It's very difficult, and the snowstorms. We've spent a lot of time on Sylvan Avenue. We haven't had snow in a few years, and people seem to forget about shoveling. So we've been contacting all the commercial buildings that they need to the way they have to shovel, and all the fire hydrants have to be cleared. The only issue, it's tough with the sidewalks because the state just keeps plowing, and they have to keep shoveling. They have to check it every other day. We're a little bit beyond that now. It seems to be melting a little bit. We've been getting a lot of water lines are freezing, and every day we're getting calls for those issues. And I believe we're starting the sanitary sewer work now, and I believe we're trying to put together. I spoke to Mike Minton today about Gilmore, about Sylvan Avenue, to do a report and check the lines on Sylvan Avenue. That's about it.
Okay, any question? Okay, thank you, Gino. Thank you. Next, DPW, Mark Never. We really appreciate your department. Your crew member did a great job, and then you can go ahead. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. couple of things. I want to first thank you for the proclamation regarding for Fran Marinuzzi. Fran's a tremendous employee, and I wish her well in her retirement. Secondly, administratively, I'm working with Fast Tech regarding the 2025 road program. We're looking to wrap that up as soon as the weather breaks. We have a couple more roads to pave, and then we'll move into in the same time really move into the 26 program, getting the quantities and specs together for that. Palisade Avenue is, as Chief mentioned, is still, I think due to the cold weather, they got a little held up on their original schedule. All the work is installed. They are just doing some housekeeping and should be here just another couple of days, I think. But from what I understand, traffic's moving about, and it'll be beneficial to the borough once they're done. Regarding, all right, the infamous weather. As everyone is aware, we received a snowstorm January 17th, received 2 inches of snow. On January 18th, we received 3 inches of snow. January 25th, we had 16 inches of snow. And last Friday, the 7th, was a salting event, only with less than a half inch. All went well, no accidents, no injuries on the borough side. I thank the staff tremendously. The big one was a lot of work, as were the other ones. It's all a lot of work. And I'd like to thank the police chief and the police department and Chief Nico and the fire department. I mean, ultimately, Public Works are plowing streets and salting roads, but we work these storms together. And that's the big, the collaborative effort is what gets us through these things. I promise you, start to finish. We did have, doing routine maintenance, we assisted a resident on Ash Street with a broken water pipe in a garage. We did have 2 water main breaks on Irving Avenue and Mercer Avenue. Both have been repaired by Veolia Water, and service has been restored. And we did have originally we thought was a 3rd water main break on 19 Laurie Drive. Unfortunately, due to further inspection, it was not a water main break, and a resident there unfortunately did not winterize their sprinkler system. And once it got to the cold weather, it broke, and it was a consistent flow of water, which caused an ice condition. That's since been rectified, and we'll monitor the street as far as icing and keep it clear as we melt down, hopefully, the next couple of days. That's about it, Mayor.
Okay. Anyone any question?
Mayor, I just want to add to Mark Neville's efforts. For folks that were wondering, I know there was a lot of conversation around salting and things of that nature, and I know DPW later in their storm cleanup efforts, they did go ahead and salt on the north end side. We did not have a shortage by any means. In fact, there was another shipment that was coming in, but the conversation around shortages actually revolved around what was happening with the docks and how the governor's office, which is very typical. It happens where the shipment sometimes might be delayed or blocked out. And our DPW personnel cannot go to the docks to go get the salt. It has to be shipped because there's a union contract for the dock workers. There was also a conversation that from my fellow municipal managers that reported that basically there was salt that was from New Jersey that was being sent over to New York City across the Hudson River. I'm not sure how true that is, but there was all that stuff. But in our case in Englewood Cliffs, we were okay. And we were able to do what we needed to do to get through the storm. But that was pretty much the issues regarding salt, but there was no shortage of any kind.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, now long waiting about the public portion. I need a motion and a second to open the floor.
Motion.
Anyone second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Mayor, if I may, Mr. Mistretta is here and he has another meeting to go to.
Oh, okay.
So if we could have the public comment about the affordable housing issues so that Mr. Mistretta can then respond, and then we can open it up to the public for anything else.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, okay.
So if anybody would like to come forward to talk about any of the affordable housing issues that are on the agenda or otherwise about our affordable housing plan that's being presented this evening, would you please come forward and speak so Mr. Mistretta may respond to those? No one? Oh. Mr. Luciano, good to see you.
There you go. Luciano, Englewood Cliffs. Mr. Mistretta, how you doing, sir? Happy New Year. Just quick question. I know that Judge Alito...
Mr. Luciano, is the mic on? I'm sorry.
Well, come on. Hello?
No, it's just because we have people on Zoom. That's why.
Everybody else was just using it. Why do I have to turn it on?
there's people on Zoom.
I know the Supreme Court, Judge Alito just agreed to hear the case that's from New Jersey. And I'm just wondering, do we have to go forward? Is this just precautionary? I think that the respondents, New Jersey Attorney General has to respond by February 17th, and they're expected to have a decision before the end of the month. So I understand that we're just trying to preclude what we have to do, but maybe just because it's introduction, but all of you should be aware that I don't think it's going anywhere personally before the Supreme Court, but Alito's from New Jersey, and you never know what's going to happen. So, I mean, go forward with it, but keep it in your mind that before March 11th, we might be able to postpone it and not go forward with what they're doing. I never thought it would have much luck, but I think they hit a jackpot with Alito from New Jersey. And that's all. I mean, I don't expect anybody else.
Thank you, Councilman.
There's people on Zoom.
Okay, is there anyone on Zoom who
If I-
wishes to be heard on this?
Yeah. Mary was, yes. Mary. Yeah, Mary was,
Mrs.
yes.
O'Shea, you want to go? Okay.
Maybe we can hand Mary the mic.
You want to hand her the mic so she doesn't have to get up?
I'm Mary O'Shea, 12 Irving Avenue. Regarding the report for C and D, I'm concerned about the section where permitted accessory structures, which includes structured multi-level parking garages, provided their parking garage is enclosed in the same building materials. We do not allow parking garages. We have two. We have the one at Unilever, which was an LG. Other than that, we do not have parking garages. And I believe that we have ordinances against parking garages. And we also were looking into having prohibiting below level garages. So to have that in there is not such a good idea. Okay. In the summer when we got the first report, I complained about the short time period that we had to review it and asked do we get the next comments sooner. And again, we're getting it like at the wire, and I keep getting told time is of the essence. We have to get this done. It has to get passed. Don't talk too much. But I like to talk, and I like to get my views heard because I try to read everything that comes my way and absorb it. And if I see something that I think needs further discussion, I want to bring it forward, and I don't want to be told not to talk, okay? And I want to thank the DPW for the plowing. This snowstorm, although it was a heavier storm, the plowing was better. And I hope that the police had something to do with getting the cars off of Irving Avenue because they were there when the snow started and were there for a while, but then they went away. So I don't know who got rid of them. Did you get rid of them? You did? Please did. Can't hear me?
No, it's just he's fixing the mic.
So,
Hello?
The power.
Hello? Okay. Hello? Hello? Well, the parking was much better. The plowing was better. Okay, but ironically, there was a car parked on the corner of 3rd Street and Henry Street throughout the storm for a week. Never got a ticket, never got moved, and was snowed in for over a week. So now we have all the police officers here. I'd like to tell you, there is a street in Englewood Cliffs called 3rd Street. It's a dead end, and it connects to Fort Lee right off the Henry Street. You guys need to take a ride up there once in a while. Okay, it's an hour.
You can't go with the cars, you can't turn.
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. O'Shea.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to come up to be heard about the affordable housing issues for Mr. Mistretta? Ms. Geiger? Mm-hmm.
Just quickly, I guess, on affordable, and I'll come back on the other issue.
Give her that and then give her that.
I got it.
Oh, we got this one. Okay. Just one thing, I want to re-emphasize what Mary O'Shea just said about the above-grade garages. We only have two in town. One is at LG. It was put in as a special item in that zone, particularly for LG and approved by the mayor and council for that zone only. There was also one put in behind Unilever, which was a source of contention. And generally, above grade garages obscure the view of residents and create light nuisances as they beam onto residents' properties behind them. So they're really something to be avoided, and they're not permitted anyplace else in town. I don't see why on these plots they should be permitted. I also want to add, and I will, I guess, come to the planning board meeting tomorrow night to talk about it, but I think below grade garages, particularly along Sylvan Avenue, which is the high point but then goes downward into the residences, should be discouraged, and perhaps this is a place to add this so we start a precedent in town. And I do want to thank you, Mr. Mistretta, for the changes that you did make and incorporate in this in these ordinances. You included the requests of the Palisades people to set up a zone that is protective of the Palisades, and I, for one, appreciate that you incorporated in the ordinances the specific heights for each building, which will leave it very, very clear to any developer who wants to come in what our height limitations are for each site. And thank you for that, and thank you for also considering the various changes recommended by residents in addition. Thank you.
There's someone on.
Yep, there's one more person.
One more person on the Zoom.
Mr. Hamat Mehta, I'm gonna unmute you. This is we're at this portion. We're only talking about affordable housing, in the interest of time, so our planner can go to another meeting. So if it's about this, just letting you know. I'm gonna ask to unmute you, and then you can go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to inquire about the latest about the Supreme Court accepting the petition for the town. So if they have accepted, and does that mean that our ordinances and everything gets stayed until that is heard, or do we still have to go forward with this, the process of passing the ordinances and whatnot? And if we do, what happens if the Supreme Court says, yes, whatever the reliefs are supposed to be granted are granted? Then what happens? I was just wondering. I've not looked into that, and since Mr. Atta is there and our town's attorney is there, maybe somebody can answer.
Thank you, Mr. Yeah. Is there anybody else on Zoom that wishes to be heard on the affordable housing items? Please raise your hand. Seeing none.
Mayor, if I could respond to Mr. Mehta's comment, and thanking Councilman Luciano for bringing that up this evening. We'll have to be guided by any decision that's made, and we'll see what happens with that case. We have no stay. There's no stay, so all the towns have to move forward in compliance with the present law, which is what we're doing. And I'll leave it to Mr. Mistretta to respond to Ms. O'Shea's comment.
Sure. The item on the parking structure, this was a requirement, court-ordered requirement, as when the overlay ordinances were adopted in the third round for the, as I mentioned before, the East Palisades, the Hudson Terrace, and the B3 zone. When we put together the draft ordinances in June 2025, in our conversations with Fair Share, we more or less mimicked those requirements, because after years of negotiation, that's what was acceptable to Fair Share and the courts as far as the overlays. So if you look at the accessory buildings and structures, including the parking garages, it is exactly the same language, same requirement that we had in our other overlay zones. The main difference is this is just multifamily and not mixed use. And I would also encourage you to look at the building coverage and the impervious coverage, which in my world is even more significant, and they have been reduced at the direction of the council and the planning board and the community and the residents. And we really can't have it both ways. We can't say that this is how we're going to address our affordable housing requirement with these overlay zones and reduce the amount of impervious coverage and building coverage, and then also reduce parking structures. It won't work. We won't be able to demonstrate that you could reasonably construct or redevelop the housing on these properties that is required. So it's a balancing act between the incorporation of the parking structure versus less impervious coverage, less asphalt, and less building coverage on the property. So, you know, we're consistent with and a little bit more restrictive than what was previously approved. And I think the lack of comments from Fair Share on those ordinances, although they haven't seen these final versions, speaks for itself in support of what we've put together.
Thank you. Mayor, if,
There's one more comment.
where's that?
Mr. Di Gregorio?
Thank you, David DiGregorio, 165 Charlotte Place, Englewood Cliffs. Just in case the Supreme Court checks our records, I'd like to go on record with the following statement. As New Jersey pushes forward on housing development, we should ask a simple question. Why do we build our public schools carefully sited, constructed with reinforced concrete or steel, subject to rigorous safety standards, environmental review, and transportation oversight, and designed for 50 to 100 years plus of service? While much multifamily housing is often optimized for speed, minimum code compliance, and shorter investment cycles, sometimes with insufficient consideration of location, infrastructure strain, and environmental impact, flood risk, traffic patterns, and neighborhood context. In Europe, residential buildings are routinely constructed to last a century or more and are integrated thoughtfully into their surroundings. If we recognize that schools deserve generational durability, responsible siting, and public trust protections, why shouldn't the housing where families live be held to similar structural standards and insulated from even the appearance of political influence in zoning? Thank you.
Is that it?
You want me to respond?
You want to respond to that?
Well, I think it's just a general statement, but I think you responded to all the questions that were asked. If the mayor and council has any questions of Mr. Mistretta? No. And Mr. Mistretta, just last before I let you leave, it's your recommendation that the council adopt introduce the 3 ordinances and also adopt the resolution authorizing the execution of this consent order.
Yes, absolutely. First step would be the adoption of the resolution in support of the consent order. The second order would be to adopt the introduction of these 3 ordinances. And again, there's going to be a planning board meeting tomorrow night. There'll be more detailed. I will get more granular on the different components of the ordinances. And it's a public hearing. If anybody is interested, I'll go into more detail tomorrow.
And Mr. Mistretta, there's 2 more resolutions coming in March regarding the affirmative marketing plan as well as the spending plan that we will post on our website ahead of the March meeting once our COA admin agent is working on the affirmative marketing plan. and
I'm
then
working on
the spending plan to share with the public. That will be for the March 11th meeting for the public to state for the record, correct?
Absolutely, and just to underscore the fact that the town is in really good shape right now. We're in a very strong position with respect to our fourth round of affordable housing plan. We are required by state law, as every municipality is, to adopt these ordinances no later than March 15th. Then everything gets filed. It gets certified. We're good for 10 years. So this is a major step. If we did not adopt, we lose immunity the next day. So we're doing what we can in order to protect the town.
Thank you, Mayor. Then I guess we can excuse Mr. Mistretta.
Mr. Mistretta, Gino Tesaro is waiting for you in the back. He'll escort you.
Okay,
to
thank you.
your
So
next
we can go to general session.
Thank
huh?
you for coming.
Yeah. Okay, now, thank you, Michael Mister. Thank you so much. And we're gonna to get back to in general public portion. Anyone want to say? You can come out. Okay, left side here, gentlemen. No. The front line. You the.
It's one by one?
Yeah. Too many people.
5 minutes.
All together.
We're gonna start with the folks in the audience first, and then we'll move over to the folks in Zoom, if there's any. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Ben Totten, Englewood Cliffs Police Officers Association, 10 Con Terrace, Englewood Cliffs. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Behind me and beside me are a collective of men who are members in good standing with PBA Local 45 and are all part of our local bargaining unit here in Englewood Cliffs, many of which are joined by their families as well. Our appearance here tonight and this message is to appeal to the sense of honor and professionalism that we know this mayor and council to have. On February 3rd, 2026, our labor attorney emailed Matthew Giacobbe requesting the borough honor a specific clause in our contract due to imminency with an active officer's health. Our unit's chairman also forwarded the correspondence to Administrator Chaudhary. Upon not receiving a response, our unit chairman emailed the entire governing body and the correspondence on Monday, February 9th. Yesterday, February 10th, the borough opined. As you are aware, our collective bargaining agreement or contract has not been signed by the appropriate authority since coming to a memorandum of understanding with former Borough Administrator Barberio. Despite this, the borough has honored all negotiated and agreed upon terms in full, and for that, we have been grateful. Most recently, 2 members with 25 years of employment applied for retirement. However, a point of contention has been made regarding our healthcare coverage in retirement. These members recalled their retirement, which was derailed when the borough pulled the rug out from under them. Historically, retired members received the healthcare at no cost, which is memorialized in our contracts. This is a portion of our contract that has remained unchanged since at least the early 1980s. It has been discussed at the table through several previous negotiations, and ultimately both sides had agreed to keep it in full force and effect. The response that our unit received was that the opinion of the borough is that officers and their families will be required to continue to contribute 35% of their healthcare premium in retirement. 35% is currently what we contribute now. In retirement, our contract yields 0. Attempts to resolve this matter with Administrator Chaudhary and Labor Council have stalled, so we appeal to you, the appropriate authority. The retiree health benefits matter is currently in interest arbitration. As a point of clarification, during contract negotiations, certain compromises and concessions are and were made by this unit for the purpose of enshrining certain coverages, and the borough representatives at the time understood that. We received and acknowledged the current position of borough's labor attorney and Administrator Chaudhary. However, we also understand that at this juncture, you, the appropriate authority, are opting to deviate from past practice in countless rounds of negotiations over the course of 40 plus years. Or you are completely unaware of what is occurring. We've attempted to speak with you, the appropriate authority, and we were met with a cease and desist letter forcing us before you today in public comment. We are here tonight to address a specific portion, again due to imminency, of an active officer with this borough. Article 25, Section 5 of our contract reads, the current level of medical and related insurance coverages shall continue in force and shall be paid for by the borough for the surviving spouse and children of an employee of the Englewood Cliffs Police Department who dies while either on or off duty. Children shall be eligible until they attain their 26th birthday. The widow shall be eligible for life unless said spouse remarries. To be clear, this message is not vindictive in nature. Rather, it is meant to inform the appropriate authority how inaction and deviation is affecting our unit and one of our longest serving members. It is our belief that you, the appropriate authority, are not aware of the gravity of the situation and its ramifications. If you look behind and beside me, you can look at the faces of those who care and those who all this will affect. Keith Wicker, who Chief Hankelman had mentioned, is currently our patrol captain. He served this borough since December of 2000. After graduating from the police academy in 2001, he was assigned to the patrol division, where he effectively enforced traffic and criminal law, effected self-initiated arrests, adhered to the principles of community policing, and volunteered his time in various borough events. In 2007, he was assigned as a federal task force officer with the Drug Enforcement Agency, otherwise known as the DEA. During his tenure in that role, he participated in numerous operations that resulted in asset forfeiture. I've been told some of the largest in DEA's history. These forfeitures financially benefited the borough by significantly alleviating certain budgetary strains. His work allowed for the hiring of additional police officers in 2010, as well as the purchase of vital equipment such as firearms, body armor, and police radios, to name a few. In 2010, Keith was diagnosed with oligodendroglioma, a form of brain cancer. His initial prognosis was grim. If you don't know who I'm speaking of, look here at my partner. He's holding a picture of Keith. That's a picture of him July 2012 donning his dress uniform. He's wearing it with pride, as you can see. Keith is a man of unwavering determination. His ability to forbear this affliction is a testament in his resilience and toughness. He did not let this prognosis deter his life with his family or his career as a public servant. After his initial surgery, he returned to his assignment with the DEA. He then was promoted to Detective Sergeant in July of 2012. August 2013, Keith returned to the borough and was promoted to Detective Lieutenant. In 2014, he married his wife, Amy. A battle with brain cancer for 16 years is a testament to Keith's spirit, but is equally a testament to Amy's tireless heart and incredible resilience she showed to her partner and as a protector. Keith is a man of faith in God, in himself, in his family, in his friends, and in this borough. He and Amy have 2 young children, Charlie and Paige. Charlie will be 8 in March. Paige will be 6 in October. A less determined man would have thrown in the towel years ago. But whether it's his unwavering commitment or his sense of resolve, he was intent on giving this borough 25 years of service. This past July, Keith endured his 10th brain surgery. Chew on that for a minute. 10 brain surgeries. Showed up every day to work. Positive attitude. Men standing here. Proud to stand here and wait while you stall through meetings with planning stuff. And we'll be here again and again and again. Please understand what this statement is and be aware of what it is not. This is not about greed or pettiness or the disgruntled musings of union members. This is about honor and service and the human ambition to beat all odds while clutching tight to family and faith. When Keith laid his hand on the Bible 25 years ago to be sworn in as an Englewood Cliffs police officer, he understood the deal that was struck. Keith upheld his end of the agreement. And now we speak for him, asking you, as the appropriate authority, to uphold the boroughs. Tonight, Keith lays in a hospital bed. Loved ones by his side. They're on Zoom. They're listening. They're watching. Cancer has now spread throughout his body. We ask that you think about his family, the ones that he has sacrificed so much for, and honor the preceding agreement he or anyone standing before you has ever known. Not every decision made in this building is a matter of life and death, but just sometimes it is that. As always, our unit is open to dialogue, as we always have been in the past. God bless Keith, his family, during this difficult time. I'm going to leave a GoFundMe for anybody who's so inclined to at least do that for him. We thank you for your time and consideration in this matter.
Okay, thank you. I really sorry about to hear that. Okay, we will consider about it and we will discuss about this one.
We do have members of the public that are also raising their hand on Zoom. I think you should just address it right now to make the public aware. Just address it right now. Before we get to the next public comment, we are gonna respond to what was just said. Just for the public record and just to clarify a few things and add some context. I'll turn it over to Bob and then I'll follow through with some of the stuff.
Mayor, I'm sure the governing body is sensitive to the situation, and as was stated, this matter is now in a legal proceeding where our Labor Council has been directing and advising the borough on this matter. This matter involves what is known as Chapter 78 payments, which are the employee's contribution to the medical benefits. Without an agreement, the contribution is 35%. I'm not going to get into what the negotiations have been to this date, but there have been negotiations. I think it's a correct assessment that the negotiations have stalled, and I think that if the mayor and council would like to have a executive session with Labor Council, that you could hear Labor Council's legal assessment and present your own feelings to see where the borough how the borough wishes to see this matter resolved. And I'll turn it over to the business administrator.
First off, I'd like to thank the PBA for coming in. It takes a lot of courage to come here and share your thoughts with the governing body. We are sensitive to the matter, to Captain Keith Wicker, and we send our regards to the entire family. This whole matter started with in mind of not only Captain Keith Wicker, but the two other pending retirements that was coming before the borough, simply because the percentage was not negotiated in the active collective bargaining agreement, or MOA. Now, I just want to clarify for members of the public, to taxpayers across Englewood Cliffs, the law that was in effect was in the year 2011. If you, it's very admirable that the borough of Englewood Cliffs offers lifetime medical benefits as a package to retirees. Not all towns do so, but Englewood Cliffs does it. Now, when you do it, you have to follow the law. And the law calls, and which Englewood Cliffs since 2011 has not been following it, is to the retirees have to contribute unless it's a negotiated percentage. With that being said, the borough, which is at the negotiation table, has been at the negotiation table. In fact, there is correspondence that shows this, whereas we could just stand pat on the 35%, was the only thing to do until the next collective bargaining agreement was to negotiate a sidebar agreement. Now, the just for the tune of the dollar amount of what's going on with the 35%, that's about $250,000 that exits the borough every single year, when it doesn't need to, if the proper percentage or contributions were collected. We're all about respecting our law enforcement and having the proper contribution, respecting their efforts and what they do regarding their career, but we also have to follow the law. And if the percentage is not negotiated accordingly, then it's 35% according to their tier that they're at, and that's black and white according to the state. What would happen before in Englewood Cliffs, and what would happen is settlement or separation agreements would be presented to the borough staff, which then would be on the agenda, and it would be forced through, and resolutions would be adopted accepting retirements. But the fine print would read 100% of the retiree benefits, which doesn't align with what Chapter 78 calls for. Unfortunately, we have to rectify that matter. When I received the 3 separation agreements, I immediately went to Labor Council and I went to the CFO. The CFO to calculate the payout payments, and then the Labor Council to look into the legal text of the separation agreement. Very standard practice of a municipality before it appears in front of the governing body to make an informed decision. That was never done before until now, according to our Labor Council, according to our CFO, and that is the practice that should be in place before the mayor and council votes on something like this. And that's where we realized the situation, and then we got to work to negotiate a sidebar agreement. When the governing body doesn't need to, they could just wait until the collective bargaining agreement, but they decided to do so. There was an offer on the table, and I'm not going to have a public negotiation here, neither is the governing body, but there was an offer on the table to reduce the percentage contribution significantly, and in return, the coverage would continue as discussed. But the separation between where the union is and where the borough is that percentage amount. And with that being said, to Captain Wicker's situation, the reason why that is in effect where what you do for one, you have to do for all. There is a retiree population currently that this also impacts. And in the event that the town honors this, there's retiree population that might also have terminal illness as well. So with that being said, the town has to be pragmatic in their approach and also understand that while we're doing this, we have to be even keel. Now, I did speak to the labor attorney. The labor attorney assured me that the spouse and the children will continue to get coverage in the event something catastrophic happens to our captain, God forbid. And the only question that comes into mind is the payment of the percentage, which will have to be done according to state law. And we're still at the table. We have been at the table, and we'll be willing to have that conversation. But that is in the matter of, in hands of legal accordingly. And then when we're advised accordingly, the governing body will also take action accordingly. So this is not personal. It's, again, if the state law allows us to outrightly do something, we would do it. Like I said before, we appreciate the time. We understand the certainty, and that's why we did everything in the beginning for sidebar agreements. We kept Captain Wicker in mind. We kept Lieutenant Romano in mind, and then soon, apparently, Lieutenant Koches. We're thinking about that and planning for it, but we have to do things the right way. I apologize if that feels like that's pulling out the rug from underneath, but we are trying to do what's according to the state health benefits program to control a little bit of the retiree population. But yeah, Mayor.
Yeah, okay. Can I have a moment?
Yeah, sure.
My name is Todd Coletta. I'm a retired lieutenant from Englewood Cliffs. I'm a former resident here 20 years, and I was one of the guys that used to dangle on a rope on those cliffs every day. I fought cancer 25 years while I'm on the job. I'm down to one vocal cord right now. These guys stood behind me, and I'm standing behind them. I'm putting one thing on the record with you right now. I was one of the architects of this contract. The contract that's in place right now, even though that it's unsigned, is still ongoing because there's a clause in there that if everything remains in place as it goes along. Through the course of the years, when I retired in 2013, Chapter 78 was passed. They never put it in the contracts, previous administrations, and I'll tell you why. Because they said in good conscience they couldn't charge these guys for the health care a second time. Throughout their careers, they gave up percentage raises. Are you prepared to backfill them and notify the pension system on the retirees so that their pensions can be adjusted? Or are you going to make them pay for it a second time? That's the morality clause that's going on here right now. I drove 2 hours to come here, to come down to this meeting when I heard about this. And I can attest to you right now that there's no change and any verbiage in that contract about health care going into retirement from my contract, which is on page 35, to the current contract, where it's on page 37. Obviously, the page numbers changed because things were tweaked along the lines with lawful collective bargaining negotiations. That didn't take place yet. You tried to jam it in. You can't just jam it in. The law was put out there, and the law should be challenged because the state passes a law. How would you like it if you're under contract now as the borough attorney and the borough administrator, and I come up here and say, no, sorry, I don't care what contract you sign, we're knocking your pay down. You're going to say, I have no standing in the matter, correct? This is what I'm trying to get a point across here. You have to be realistic about this. This town has always negotiated in good faith. I can tell you situations where we changed healthcare, where the town came into problems, and they called us in. There's another bargaining unit chairman that's back here that's retired. Captain George Murray was in the room with me. They sat down and they said to us, the town, we can't afford to do this. We says, okay, what do you want to offer and what can we do? And we always worked it out amicably. Nobody in the state could pass some law, in my opinion, to affect an existing contract in local and county government. There's no standing. I don't negotiate with the state. I negotiated with the appropriate authority here. Always have, always will be. That's all I need to say. I thank you for the time, and I really wish you would consider this, because I have very fondness with Keith, and the chief was my road sergeant when I was here, and my heart goes out to him, because I know how I felt with two small kids trying to get back to work. Get there. I had a major operation on my neck, and I was out for 30 days, sick days, and came back. I actually came back on a full doctor's note. I had a drain in my chest when I still came back to work, not to go on disability, not to lose my spot here. That's what this job is. That's the caliber of the people we have here. And I want that on the record. I want this council to see how things were going at the time and embrace that and continue with these policies. Sit down, negotiate. You want to install Chapter 78 in? Start with new hires. You got to hire new guys, say, here's the parameters. You can't get somebody that's on the job that's planning this like kids in college and say, you're going to have to turn around and pay for your health care after working here 15, 20 years. It's not fair. And it's not fair because they put the statute in that you had a 20 years of service credit by June 28 to 2011. That's fair? That's not fair. That should have been contested right out of the gate. Thank you for your time. I wish you all well. Thank you.
Thank you. Next. Anyone else? Yes. Name in your town.
Good evening. My name is Jim Rice. I'm a retired sergeant from Englewood Cliffs. I worked with Keith Wicker for most of his career. And like Keith Wicker, I had cancer. Todd Coletta had cancer. There's 15 other officers on this department I can name that have had, some survived and some didn't, forms of cancer. There may be a much bigger issue here that has been ignored for a long time, and one that you might want to consider when you think about these decisions, that there may be a huge class action lawsuit coming your way from all the men in this department who have either died already, are sick, or have survived, thank God, cancers. And these are the same men that are out there on the street in snowstorms when it's 0 and when it's 10 and when it's snowing sideways and there's 16 inches on the ground, making sure that you're all comfortable and home, safe and warm in your beds with your families. They're out there on the street. And that's something you should all consider when you go home tonight and look in the mirror and just really think about the decisions that you're making affect people's lives. You're here 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, whatever your political career is. These men sign their lives away, work 25, 30, 35 years, their whole adult lives, because some of them died while they were here. Think about that tonight when you go to bed, and you kiss your kids goodnight. Thank you.
Okay, next. Thank you. Next, please. Okay.
Michael Chaffee, 16 Bayview. I've known Keith since he got on a job. I promoted him several times. I assigned him to the DEA. Like Totten said, he's brought this borough millions of dollars. And I'll give you one was a $10 million bank out of our country. We didn't get the 10 million, but we got a fair share of that 10 million. So he brought a lot of money in here. Okay, he's an honest guy. When I first started the job, I was told everything is your job. That meant going to residents' houses and bringing their garbage out if I had to, opening up their garage door when the electric went out and they couldn't get out. Little things that is not in our contract that we're not supposed to do. But we do it because we're policemen from this borough of Englewood Cliffs, a small community where everybody takes care of one another. We look after your interests, you look after our interests. And I'll tell you, I've been here over 72 years, and the past councils that I worked with, we had the best insurance. I don't know, Mary, were you here when we got Guardian insurance? We used to have Guardian. It was one of the best insurance that there was possible. And you know, because that was the mayor and council was looking out for us, and we treated them with respect and looked out for them. People's houses, as soon as we hear a name, we're there at that house immediately. Why? Because we care. And it really comes from the heart. Like Ben was saying, and just like Jimmy Rice, you know, a lot of the guys here had cancer. I was when I was the chief, we had the same physician for years and years and years. Okay, and I know 5 guys that he saved found cancer on them and saved them, saved their lives. And Todd was one of them. And when you have that kind of physician or diagnostician or whatever, you don't want to lose them. But we're losing them because we're changing doctors. But beside that point, Keith Wicker is the most honorable man. All of those guys are honorable officers here. They'll do anything for you. They'll go above and beyond. They'll put their life in front of yours to save your life, and I know it for a fact. All I'm saying to you is do the right thing. Think with your conscience and your heart. Think of what the right thing to do is. The law is the law, but you know what? You can make the contract the way you want it. You can give them that money instead of taking it away from them. Now, I know Keith wanted a family, and he's got a lovely son and daughter, and I've been with him through all these operations, and I have to tell you, it's been a really tough time, tough operation. Everybody have their head cut open and take out a tumor that's the size of a quarter, like 10 times, and he's come back, and he never complained, and he never asked for overtime. He worked his job, and he came here, and whatever we needed, he gave us. And it wasn't only Keith; it's every one of those guys back there. Todd Coletta, all those guys, they all are honest, more higher caliber of an officer than you could think of. I've worked in another police department, and they were similar to this, just like that. Somebody got sick, everybody came in and worked. They had rules, but you know what? Those rules went out the window when it was one of your own. And I'm asking you people, from my heart, to please consider, do the right thing here. Do what's the right thing. Don't do what money-wise is. Because if you want to go money-wise, have the chief look up what Keith Wicker brought in here. Because I'll tell you right now, he brought in millions. And he saved this borough millions. And for 35% for the rest of his family's life, you're going to take that away from him? $250,000 a year? You're going to take that away? I'm sorry. It doesn't equate. So please consider what I'm saying. Consider the officers. Consider that they're here for you, and they're going to be here for you. No matter what you do, they're still going to be here for you. But I think you should do the right thing. Thank you.
Okay. David, you got your please.
We have Mr. DiGregorio and then Mrs. Simon afterwards. For the folks on Zoom, we'll get to you after we're done with the folks in the audience.
You spoke already.
It's very important to take care of our departments and all of our employees here in Englewood Cliffs. If we take care of them, they'll take care of us. And they have taken care of us. And I would like to see either Councilman Lee, Councilman Kapsakis, sorry.
You got it.
Mitch, Rivka, Rashid, or Philip. You are all human beings. You have the disposition to do what's right. You have the disposition to do what's not right. I would appeal to one of you to make a motion to honor the contract right now, and let's be done with it. Everyone goes home, and everyone feels good that they have taken care and done the right thing. Itishan, you can lawyer this up all you want, but your conscience is going to pay for it. It's not the right thing to do. It's not you. Do you want to be a good person? Do you want to reach into your best self? Then you have to do the right thing. All of you have to do the right thing. When I sat up there, I did my best to do the right thing as a human being, a fellow human being. I resent anyone who does not. And if you do not, I believe all of you will be resented in this town. I appeal for one of you to make a motion to honor the contract as is and be done with it. Thank you.
Melanie Simon, 33 Lynn Drive. I've known Keith Wicker for the 25 years that he served, probably longer than you have lived in town. He's a good man. You need to find a way to support him in his time of need. He has done the right thing by us. We have plenty of money that we spend on all kinds of things. Find a way to make this man whole in his hour of need. And I very rarely agree with David, but I will tell you, you should make that motion, because if I sat up there, I would make it and he would second it. Do the right thing.
I'm not going to talk about it, except I wish Keith Wicker, I mean, I don't know, Godspeed. I mean, I know him as well. He's a great man. My heart breaks. I'm going to change it up a little. I know there's no time limit, but I'll try to be fast. 5th Street. I think you've all admitted that 5th Street is something that's going to be an added assessment. Tomorrow, be prepared. I'm gonna Oprah, because I've been hearing month after month that this engineer met, Neglia met, you met. All this should be accounted for. This shouldn't go through regular payments. So your accrual of what should be added, because you said we're going to come up with a formula for what should be the added assessment to everybody. So make sure that anything pre-construction is also included, because that's not fair to me as a taxpayer that your meeting, the engineer's meeting, we're talking about 5th Street and we're paying for it. Okay, please. I know I don't expect an answer. It's sort of like 910 as well. So I'll go to 910. 910, you mentioned they're going to ask for an extension because they're going to merge possibly some kind of business unit with Englewood. First off, I don't understand how they even went to the planning board, Because my understanding at the planning board, someone has to testify in that case that all the fees have been paid, that all the neighbors have been notified. A year later, the developer still hasn't paid their fees. And when I come to develop a piece of property here in town, I'm not paying my fees. You're going to pay them, and we'll worry about it a year later. And now, even though they haven't paid their fees, they went to the planning board, which I think that decision is void, because they lied under oath that everything was paid. They didn't pay anything. Now, is that property, when they merge, going to be tax exempt? Because if it is, fight it. It's not the main property of the hospital. Okay? So I see what's going on. They're going to try to merge, and now they're going to say, oh, we're tax exempt. Look at Hackensack, look at Morristown. They can still be charged taxes. First off, like I said when I sat up there, I don't even think that you should consider anything from them. Why would you consider extending an application that they never satisfied paying their escrow fees for? No other builder in town that I know of, maybe now with your administration, gets away with not paying their fees. If I want to put an addition on my house, I got to pay my fees. And before you come to the planning board, they ask the question whether Kathy lied or someone lied under oath that all the fees have been paid, because we know that that's a lie. 800 Sylvan tax appeal. I know 2 years ago we made a settlement with 800 Sylvan. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Is this something that Jerry Barberio just slipped away? Because my understanding was that we were supposed to settle for a few $100,000 and then no additional appeals for the remaining other years.
It's a separate, because they got subdivided. There's 800 Sylvan Unilever, and then there's 800 Sylvan, what you're referring to.
So this is Unilever part.
Unilever, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I just wanted to, I didn't mean to.
I want to understand, because I know, I mean, it was like if I remember correctly, 300, we sat in there and argued about it, 360,000.
Yeah. That's why in the title
Okay,
of the resolution.
thank you for clarifying that. Fair share housing. I understand all of your positions, but what I'm amazed at, not one of you, as much as you complained and moaned about what the Democrats were doing on the north end, look what you all have to do right now. You all are sitting there saying, you know what, I don't want to do this, but you're being forced, right? And every one of you did was say, oh, the Democrats, they're doing it for their friends. Mayor, you came out and said you have 2 people on the south end. Are you going to say 2 of your friends are going to benefit from the overlay zone? Like you tried to say Ed Aversa was going to benefit from the overlay zone? We have emails that said your friend, as a matter of fact, where you're looking at where these new technology home is going to go, your friend. I'm just curious. I mean, I understand what you have to do, but you're two-faced that in one section you say, the Democrats, look what they did up here. They sold out the whole town. You just sold out the rest of the town. So thank you for joining us. I look forward to you complaining about it.
I'm sorry.
The next,
Time's up.
there is no time limit tonight. I'm sorry,
Time
too.
over.
No, there's no time limit, Mayor. I don't
Time
care.
over.
The next thing that we have, I have
exception
one
to
more
the
thing, Mayor.
police
please.
matters.
No, you're not going to stop me.
Okay, go ahead.
Every meeting.
Go ahead.
Okay, the last thing I had was that on your agenda tonight, even though the people, I think, came out and said, we don't want a pavilion at Johnson Field.
Changed the title thing. It was updated.
Excuse me?
The resolution was updated.
What is it updated to?
The tennis courts.
When was that done? 4:30 today?
It was changed in the afternoon.
I'm done, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay, Ms. Geiger. Okay.
We're gonna go Ms. Geiger, and then we're gonna go to you. Okay. No, Ms. Geiger, you go ahead.
Oh dear, this thing is up here. Few comments. One, Keith Wicker. Keith Wicker was one of the first policemen I met. And I met him when my house had an attempted burglary. And I just want to say for the record that Keith epitomized what all of us would want in a policeman in our town. He was caring. He came to my home multiple times to see just how we felt. And he'd drive by and tell me, get your lights on. My prayers are with his family, and Godspeed. I just want to say that I personally appreciated him and all of our police that follow in his footsteps. On fair share housing, I was very distressed to hear Mr. Mistretta say that because the ordinances were written as part of the settlement agreement and those were approved by the court, that these new ordinances, completely new and in a different part of town and a different court, have to follow that program. There is no reason that an ordinance in a different part of town in a different time, this is not a settlement, this is our ability, your ability, to set the zoning for our town in the way in which it best serves the community. And we shouldn't be bound or mistaken that what was done in a hurried settlement under the guns of the court, where we had a weekend to come up with a settlement agreement, should be the pattern and the basis for what moves forward. Now, some of the things Mr. Mistretta proposed and then modified were modifications to things that were included in that settlement. And those things he saw fit to modify. Other things he now is protesting. And I urge you, I will say this at the planning board tomorrow night, but I urge you not to approve something just because it's in the other zones. Approve it because it's in the best interest of the town. That's who you have to serve. I wanted to also speak about 910, 940. I think that escrow money has to be paid. You are setting a precedent if you don't get payment that will follow you in every other development application in this community. And we may have many. And it's not the business of the town to front money to developers. As far as Sylvan Avenue and sewage, I'm awaiting that report. We've been waiting for it for almost 3 years. So please get that to us. That was the basis on which we got a TWA for 800 Sylvan, that area would be reviewed and that any changes that were needed would be implemented. And finally, I want to speak to the town hall meeting that took place on Saturday. I just have one comment. In the future, it would be helpful to those of us who would like to attend those meetings to advertise them as public meetings so council members who are there can speak freely. We come because we want to interact with you. We want to hear what you have to say about things. We know what we think. And for it to be a give and take, as I'm sure you intended, it has to be a properly advertised meeting. Thank you.
Okay, next. Okay, yes, come up, please. Your name and town.
David Hill, Montvale.
If you could just speak up to the mic so folks in online can hear you.
David Hill, Montvale, New Jersey. I retired here as a police officer, lieutenant, and I was acting chief in my last year in 2019. So I'm told that this also affects some of us. So I have 2 kids in college. I planned for my retirement thinking with a signed, executed agreement that it would be, like in the past, upheld. Sure. So we talk about honor, and we love Keith like a brother, all of us. You know, just like families, we all have little issues, but we love each other. And nobody wants to go through what their family's going through. I was sick last year and hospitalized, and my family for 3.5 months. But so now you're going to tell me 6 years retired that my pension is now going to be $12,000 short from what it was, and I don't think that's very honorable. That certainly isn't taking care of your own. It's my understanding this could be as little as 1.5%. Is that correct?
If it's a negotiated percentage.
Correct. But I negotiated with the mayor and council when I left in 2019 what my separation agreement was, just like all the other officers that are in that.
Individual contracts are separate. If they have a negotiated percentage and you're not
Well,
part of the
right,
bargaining
there was
agreement.
0%.
Okay.
Okay, so I understand they're negotiating, or you're in contract negotiations there, but I don't understand how you can tell a retired officer what they're going to have to pay now, which nobody is representing. That is certainly not honorable, and that is not upholding your side of my contract or anybody else who retired. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Okay, gentlemen, come here. Yes.
For the folks on Zoom, we're almost done with the folks in the audience, and then we will turn to you. I see folks raising their hand. We'll get to the folks in the Zoom after we're done with the people in the audience. Thank you.
Brian Murphy. I am also from Montvale, New Jersey now. I am a retired captain. I grew up in this town. And like Dave, Lieutenant McDermott, Scott Mira, we all retired with a contract that basically diagrammed and clarified what our agreement was going to be going forward. I understand things change. I understand what towns have to go through to make things function. I've been very dramatic in this room before, so I'm trying to not to be dramatic. But we just want the best and most reasonable result out of this whole thing. As far as Keith Wicker goes, he is my brother, those guys' brothers, and just keep his family in mind. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Geiger.
Okay.
Thank you.
Martin Geiger, 270 Alfred Street. Can you explain what the number $250,000 is that you have been talking about? That's the first question. Secondly, I'd like to know what $250,000 on the annual budget costs the average homeowner in taxes. That's something you would be able to tell us. And then thirdly, I'd like to know what is the penalty, if any, under law, if the borough continues its payments of the health insurance as it has in the past? Is there any penalty under law that the borough would have to pay to any court or to the state? Thank you.
All right, now, is there anybody else Is there anyone else wishing to be heard in the audience? Otherwise, we're going to turn our attention to Zoom. Okay. All right, at this moment, we're going to turn our attention to Zoom. We're going to begin with an individual by the name of Zahira. I'm going to ask to unmute you, and you can state your public comment. Just please state your first name and last name for the municipal clerk for purposes of the minutes.
Hi, good evening. My name is Zahira Khan. I am also from Montvale. And I actually wanted to start off with congratulating the mayor and council on your crescent lighting. We also do a crescent lighting in Montvale. We have been doing it for over 3 years, and I am really appreciative of Englewood Cliffs to join us in our crescent lighting also. Just a quick thing about Ramadan and crescent lighting. Ramadan reminds us that fairness and accountability are not just legal principles, but moral ones. So I sincerely hope that this month really brings everyone the understanding of integrity, compassion, and honoring our commitments. I really appreciate everyone for taking the part to participate in the crescent lighting. And I really hope that this matter that I'm hearing right now is revisited with empathy and a shared commitment to strengthen the entire community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Sorry. Did not. Okay. Is there anybody else that wishes to be heard on Zoom? You can ask to unmute yourself, or raise your hand, or try to get our attention somehow. If you're on phone, I believe it's *67 or *69. I'm not too sure, but whatever you can do to get our attention, so we can unmute you. Mayor, there's no comments on public.
No, okay. Okay, I want to close public portion. I need a motion.
Motion.
And I need a second. Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Okay, next.
Mayor, before you move on,
okay.
We do want to answer Mr. Geiger's comments. Did you want to touch upon the $250,000? That was a number that was, I believe, from the report that we got when we did our when we looked at our retiree population, if I'm not mistaken, according to the law. And then there was a based on the percentage of the 100%, if I'm not mistaken. If you wanted to speak a little bit on that.
So the $250,000 is roughly,
and that's approximate, by the way.
Approximate number that would translate to a 35% contribution from all your retirees who are currently receiving health benefits. The impact on the budget for that $250,000 will be about $95 per year to the average household.
Okay, thank you. And as far as the penalty, I'm not an attorney, Bob. You can answer that, but I believe, from what I understand, what labor was telling me, you just don't want to be in that position. What that means, we can probably ask the labor attorney to come out and speak about that. But Bob, if you want to, unless
we're required to address these matters through the budgetary process, and our approval for our municipal action is based upon us following the law in this regard. So, exactly what the penalty will be, I can't answer you right now. I don't really know the answer to that question, but it's a procedure that has to be followed by the town. So we have to address it. How we address it is still, subject to the process.
In the eyes of PERC for the state. Mrs. O'Shea, we closed the public session, but
Just a quick question. What does 35% of the insurance payment represent to the individual? Like, my husband's retired from the Teaneck Fire Department, and we get the state health benefits plan, and we pay for medical supplemental coverage.
Because you have Medicare.
And it's like $300 a month, another $80 for dental. So I don't know what does the 35% that they would have to pay? What's that dollars per month?
How much is that per month? It depends on each individual retiree, correct, Shuaib?
Salary.
Okay, would you?
So 35.
Yeah, what kind of plan they have, and then what salary they left off the organization with, correct?
So 35% is the maximum. There is a tier system that basically takes into account what your annual pension allowance is, and based on that figure and your coverage level, the percentage will be determined. The maximum is 35%, but for somebody whose pension is, let's say, less than the maximum and they have a single coverage, that percentage could be as low as 25%. So 35% is the max.
But from what she's asking.
So it's not 35% of the premium.
It is 35% of the premium.
Okay.
But it's determined using your pension allowance. So the state uses the pension allowance as a guideline, just like they use our annual salaries for active employees. So when you retire, they use what you're getting in pension, and that determines what tier you fall under, and that tier determines the percentage. The maximum for all the coverage levels is 35%.
Okay, most important thing is, do you know how much is each, the single couple family per month? So family health insurance cost, how much is it? And then we heard about a 35% increase this year. Then how much impact to our total budget? Did you figure out. We want to look at it, and those are whole number. This is not the percentage is not important. We are represent our town resident interest, so we have to figure out whole big picture. That we're gonna make a decision.
Yeah, I think
I'll
the,
do the calculation.
The number, if we're not sure, we do some, we do some study, then
Yes.
response later.
I did want to point for the record to everyone. If you recall, I want to say earlier this year, we could basically awarded a contract to a health benefits consultant, Brown and Brown, who basically did research. And if you recall, they looked at everything from our loss ratio to our claims experience and everything else. And in their report, they specifically stated, with respect to what you just brought up, Mayor, the 35% increase, the 37% increase, 39 and then 50, they are bringing the healthcare plan, basically the state health benefits program, is basically being readdressed, and we're going to see what happens down the line. But towns are looking into alternatives. We were trying to do the same, but no one quoted us. And in the letter from the consultant, they said the limiting factor for Englewood Cliffs was the retiree population in terms of the contributions. It was a big point that they made as to why people didn't want to quote us. Now, I'll let Shoaib answer the budgetary questions. It is getting to a point where municipalities across the state of New Jersey is struggling with this. In essence, it's basically impacting the budget very negatively across the state, and there has to be an opportunity to look at options to address this. In years past practice, you were able to get away with a lot of these things. However, one, you want to address the law or honor the law. That's black and white. And number two, you have this bigger factor, which is the state health benefits program, in which Englewood Cliffs is a member of. The increases of healthcare costs and premiums are going up. So, Shoaib, if you would like to answer the mayor's question, I know you don't have the specifics with the budget in front of you, but if you wanted to also answer something with that.
I'll try to keep it broad. So, just like it was mentioned earlier, the Chapter 78 was passed in 2011. Any individual who had 20 years of service as of that date was exempted from the contribution requirement. So, whoever retired with 20 years, whoever had 20 years at that time was not subject to contribution. If you didn't have 20 years, and I know people who have missed it by a month and 2 months. So that was a drop dead cutoff date. Going forward, just like as I mentioned before, depending on your pension allowance, depending on your coverage level, that's what determines the percentage. Now that is if you fall without negotiation. Just like the administrator was mentioning before, we were trying to negotiate with this group. So I would recommend going back to the negotiating table and come up with a percentage that's would probably be significantly lower than 35%. But once you have negotiated that percentage, that means that you are in compliance with the Chapter 78 rule. The state is not going to dictate what percentage needs to be there. You just have to negotiate that percentage that's acceptable to both parties. And that could be significantly less than 35%.
That's if you want to negotiate.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. No. We already closed it?
Yes.
All agree?
We did already. Right?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Now we're on the
Okay, what is? No. Approval of minutes.
minutes.
Okay, yeah. Approval. I need a motion and second to approve January 14th, 2026 regular meeting. Minutes and January 14th, 2026 close session.
Speak into the mic, please. The public can't hear you.
Cannot hear you?
Yeah, you guys
Okay.
speak in when you're.
Okay. I'm sorry, one more time. I need motion and second to approve January 14th, 2026 regular meeting. Minutes and January 14th, 2026
Motion.
close
Second.
executive service minutes. I need a motion.
Motion by Councilman Patel,
Seconded by Councilman Liang.
Okay.
seconded by Councilman Liang.
Okay, roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapseskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. And the payment of vouchers. I need a motion and a second to
Make
approve
motion.
the resolution,
Second.
resolution 2026-82. Any discussion?
Motion by Councilman Liang, seconded by Councilman Patel. On roll call, Councilwoman Begets,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Would you take care of adoption of ordinance, please?
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
The next matter on the agenda under the adoption of ordinances is ordinance number 2026-02. May we have a motion for the second reading of ordinance number 2026.02? Need a motion for the second reading,
This is a tax map.
revision for development
Make a
approval.
motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Liang, seconded by Councilman Kapsiskis.
Roll call.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes. Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
The clerk will now read ordinance number 2026.02 by title only.
Ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance amending Chapter 15 of the Code of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs to establish tax map revision fees for subdivision and site plan approvals.
Okay, may we have a motion now to open this ordinance for public hearing on ordinance 2026.02?
Need a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Was that motion by Councilman
Councilman-
Lee and seconded by Councilman Liang and Patel?
Councilman Liang.
Okay.
Okay, roll call.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
At this time, we will have the public hearing for ordinance number 2026-02, establishing tax map revision fees for developmental approvals. If anyone wishes to be heard, it will be only on ordinance number 2026-02. Let's see. I don't see anyone online and no one on person, Bob. So
Okay, then
we need a motion second to close.
motion and second to close the public hearing on this ordinance.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kapsaskas, seconded by Councilman Patel. Roll call.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, then can we have a motion to adopt and advertise ordinance number 2026.02 according to law?
We need a motion and second.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Begats, seconded by Councilman Patel. Roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. The next ordinance is ordinance number 2026-03. This is regarding public urination and defecation. Can we have a motion for the second reading of that ordinance by title only?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kapsaskas, seconded by Councilwoman Begats. Roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes. Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, the clerk will now read the ordinance by title only.
Ordinance number 2026-03, an ordinance to add Chapter 26 of the Borough Code entitled Public Urination and Defecation.
Okay, may we have a motion to open for public hearing on ordinance 2026-03?
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Liang, seconded by Councilman Kapsaskis. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, this matter is now open for public hearing. If any members of the public would like to come forward to comment on ordinance number 2026-03, please come forward at this time.
Oh, no one on Zoom has raised their hand or tried to get our attention, and no one from the audience.
Seeing no one coming forward, may we have a motion to close the public hearing on this ordinance?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Liang, seconded by Councilman Patel. On roll call, Councilman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, then may we have a motion to adopt and advertise ordinance 2026-03?
Need a motion and second.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Begats, seconded by Councilman Patel. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mayor, if I may, we need to take a matter out of order, and that is a resolution. Just give me a second, I'll find it.
No, we're not there yet.
No, but
introduction. It's introduction of the ordinance.
I know.
Affordable housing.
We didn't do
Yeah,
it.
it's right after the introduction of the ordinance. You're talking about the consent order.
Right, but I wanted to do the consent order before we introduce the ordinances. Yeah. Where is the consent order?
Just say resolution 2026-83.
Okay,
So, members of the governing body, please turn your and the public, please turn your attention to resolution number 2026-83 that actually comes after the introduction of ordinances. We need a motion and second to essentially go out of order to basically move this agenda item before the introduction of the ordinances. As per the borough attorney, is that correct? That's what you want to do?
yeah, we could just go right to it and without a motion to take it out of order and just vote on it. Resolution 2026-83.
Okay, then we do that. The motion 2026-83. This is a resolution authorizing the borough attorney to execute a consent order for conditional compliance certification, parentheses, affordable housing, close parentheses.
We have a motion on that resolution, please.
Motion. Second.
Okay, motion by Councilwoman Begat, seconded by Council members Patel and Liang. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, now we're going to move to the introduction of ordinances. Ordinance 2026-04. May I have a motion to read the ordinance for introduction?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Kapsaskis, seconded by Councilwoman Begats. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, the clerk will now read the ordinance number 2026-04 by title only.
Ordinance number 2026-04, an ordinance amending Section 19 Affordable Housing Development Fees in Chapter 30 Zoning of the Code of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs to address the requirements of the Fair Housing Act, FHA, as amended, and the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls, UHAC, as amended regarding compliance with the borough's affordable housing obligations.
Thank you. May we have a motion now to introduce and advertise ordinance 2026-04 for public hearing in accordance with law?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Liang, seconded by Council members Begats and Kapsaskis. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Thank you. Now we have ordinance 2026-05. We have a motion to read the ordinance for introduction.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Liang, seconded by Councilwoman Begets.
Roll.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, and then we have ordinance.
I'll read the one.
She has to read the ordinance. And
Oh,
then,
I'm
there's
sorry.
One more motion.
Please read the ordinance by title only. Sorry.
Sure. Ordinance number 2026-05, an ordinance to enact section 30-5.20 Southern Sylvan Avenue Overlay Zone C in Chapter 30 zoning of the Code of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs to provide district regulations for an overlay zone and to address compliance with the borough's affordable housing obligations.
Okay, we have a motion to
Introduce and advertise
introduce and advertise this ordinance.
for public hearing in accordance with the law.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Kapsaskis, seconded by Councilwoman Begats. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
And now we have ordinance 2026-06. May we have a motion to read the ordinance for introduction? First reading of ordinance 2026-06. We have a motion to read the ordinance.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Council Members Liang and Kapsaskis, seconded by Councilmember Begats. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
No. I'm sorry. Yes, roll call, please. I'm sorry.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
The clerk will now read ordinance number 2026-06 by title only.
Ordinance number 2026-06, an ordinance to enact section 30-5.19 Southern Sylvan Avenue Overlay Zone D in Chapter 30, zoning of the Code of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs to provide district regulations for an overlay zone and to address compliance with the borough's affordable housing obligation.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
I'm sorry.
Second.
To introduce.
No. I need
and
one
advertise.
second. This is 2026.
It's 2026-06. You
Right.
need a motion second to introduce and advertise the ordinance for public hearing in accordance to the law. Can we have a motion second?
Motion.
Second?
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Liang and second by Councilmember Begats. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets,
Yes.
Councilman Liang,
Yes.
Councilman Patel,
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis,
Yes.
Councilman Lee,
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, then we have resolutions, beginning with resolution 2026-84 through
No, 84. We already approved
Oh,
83.
yes.
through 2026-95. We have a motion to approve those resolutions by consent.
Motion.
There's a second.
Motion by Councilman Kapsaskis, seconded by Councilwoman Begats. And any discussion? Well, we do have a question from a member of the governing body. Mr. Lee, Councilman Lee, you said you have a question on the consent agenda items? Councilman Lee, you said you had a question on the consent agenda items, resolutions?
Which item are we talking?
Yeah.
No, that's not. Yeah, these things. Yeah, I have a little concern about tax reductions.
Oh, we're not there yet.
Which item?
He's referring, Councilman Lee, for folks that are wondering, he's referring to resolutions 2026-87 through resolution 2026-92. Tax appeal settlements.
Oh, now we're doing what? That's a consent. Consent?
Okay, Councilman, continue.
No. Okay.
Councilman,
Okay.
is that it? That was it?
You're concerned.
You just have concerns.
Yeah, you're concerned.
Once the business buildings are tax reductions, and then the other buildings also influenced to lower taxes. These lowering taxes is mostly not by the owner, building owners. Mostly these are instigated by the real estate tax reduction companies. So once we have reductions on the few buildings, and then next year we're gonna have a lot more the guys gonna file to lower the taxes. So even let's say we to reduce our attorney fees, just we negotiate. Once we negotiated, the next year coming more and more and guys claims. So to stop these, even we take little more money, but we have to make it stop somehow. We have to make it stop it, and and also that's one thing. The second one, we to raise these businesses, the businesses, we have to give them more incentive. Let's say so. Some of them we have the incentive they have to give them. For instance, we give some zonings from the office zoning to commercial zonings. You know, so many offices being closed, so the value is going down and down. They keep claiming. So and also we could raise the building coverages, or we can raise building height. You know, so many factors we can raise their the building values to make more tax account will be raised, and one of the and also I want to mention that when I look at the buildings, let's say when I look at one of the building 2009, which is building 600 Sylvan Avenue, that has 72,000 square feet. They pay only taxes. They pay $96,000. Compared to residents, they pay much less than paying the taxes much less than the resident.
They should pay more.
It's this is much less. So we somehow we have the commercial buildings. Usually, most of the towns they pay more taxes than residents. But when I look at the numbers, our numbers is much less. So what we cannot merely raise their taxes. As I said before, we give some kind of incentive to raise their revenues. So and finally, final conclusion is I said we in the future we should not negotiate with the guys. Once we do, the more and more guys are claiming the tax reductions. Thank you.
I thank you for your comments.
Right here.
Thank you for your comments, Councilman. Perhaps that's something we can explore with the tax appeal attorneys. We have a new tax appeal attorney coming in, and with our planner, and to see what can be done to try to stop the flow of tax appeals. and the effect on the town.
What I will add, Councilman, and I express this here, I can arrange a meeting. However, appealing taxes is protected under the state constitution. Whether commercial properties are coordinating or not, or whatever they're doing, it's going to be highly difficult to basically for the town to essentially do something about this in this respect. People appeal their taxes, and it's based off of market value and other considerations in which the town will then, through the professionals, negotiate, because there's always a risk of trial in terms of tax court that can be very risky for the town, which is why we settled in terms of the mediation for 800 Sylvan Avenue with Unilever. It was at the advice of our professionals who, they run all kind of data, they consider all kinds of conditions, and then they present the best case for the municipality. But what I will share for members of the public, and as for the governing body, we have faced significant reductions in terms of the tax appeals that have been filed, and as well as what has been settled. Our assessor has that documentation from what years prior were. We also are, if you heard from our CFO, we are in a good financial situation where we plan ahead for these kinds of things. And also we have added assessments that come in that our tax assessor has worked on. So the municipality is in a great position with our new tax appeal attorney, Huntington and Bailey. They reported to us that there is nothing, possibly only 2 cases that might require settlements for the year of 2026. However, everything else they were able to negotiate or get it thrown out where there's no further appeal. So we have our professionals working. The governing body cannot really intervene besides authorizing the settlement. However, we can arrange this meeting with you to talk to our professionals to go into a little bit deeper. But there is a formula and a lot of other things that go into this type of stuff.
And then if we can have we have a motion and a second for the
We do
consent
have a
agenda.
We need a roll call. We had a motion already.
Yeah,
did that
Yeah. Beauty, do you have the motion second?
Yes, motion by Councilwoman Begets, seconded by motion by Councilman Kapseskis, seconded by Councilwoman Begets.
On roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapseskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, then we have a motion to enter into executive closed session to discuss pending litigation. Do we have a motion and a second?
I make a motion.
Motion. Oh, second.
Second.
Roll call.
Motion by Councilman Liang, seconded by Councilman Kapseskis. On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapseskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, members of the public, we're going to advise you that we're going to go into executive session. We may come out and we may take formal action. So,
Tell us what litigation items?
Just the list of lawsuits.
What are the laws?
this is a lawsuit by Albert Wunsch versus the borough.
Okay. Just that one.
Just that one, right?
Yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna mute everybody, and then if members of the governing body want to go into the room. I'm gonna do the banner.
Okay.
I know how to do it. You guys start making your way over.
We'll just put that on pause. I put that on pause.
Thanks again. You pause it. All right.
Only that
I'll
one.
I'll take care of this.
Okay.
I know what to do.
Let me just move this.
Yeah, you're good. I mean, you're more than welcome to come in.
Huh?
Go home.
Go ahead.
Don't spend too much money.
Yeah, don't worry. We're gonna spend everything. All right, Councilwoman, go head on over. I haven't muted everything yet, so please.
I got the W-2, thank you.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but my son, will he get it corrected? I wanted to say that that one that was issued.
Where's the YouTube? YouTube.
The reason before I checked all the tax, how much in taxes I checked, it's not much. It didn't very much.
I'm not familiar with a lot of those tax refunds. I know.
Good night, I see.
Oh, good night.
So,
Thank you so much, Mr. Geiger. Thank you.
That those resolutions are so confusing. You're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. Can't you find it?
Fix this. How do I fix this?
okay, I remember working with the Republicans, and they had a piece called The Two Faces of Lee, Lee Langbaum. She was a very lovely lady, I thought very nice. This is when Karen ran in 82. 82? No, it couldn't be. Ran 81? No, you ran against, what's her name's father? Arthur Goldstein. You ran against Goldstein and Talbot for some reason. But you ran against Goldstein and Talbot. I don't know how bad.
Yeah, 75.
No, she ran in the 80s.
Well, but any of those that were elected and ran for re-election wouldn't be listed there twice. So if
I
Goldstein
know,
ran
maybe
in
he was filling
75,
maybe he was filling a
he
seat
would
or
have ran
something.
again in 78.
You definitely ran against anybody. Goldstein was up in 78, then again, maybe you did run 81. She only ran because but that doesn't have everyone's term. It's just the first time they're elected. I got updated.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Wait 1 second, I want to ask
Why is the private session? Yes, Ms. Geiger. I'm sorry, we're still on YouTube. Live. Oh, we can go over here.
No. I think Sam has done a lot of work on it already. I think they keep it right where it is.
Should I turn this off?
No, that's fine. I missed executive session.
Yes.
Are you guys gonna need me?
We can share with you now.
No, it's fine. All right, let me fix the Zoom.
Yeah.
Real quick.
Excuse me. Pull in.
I don't know how to turn on the YouTube thing, like the YouTube screen thing, whatever.
Oh.
Yeah. Take this off.
All these lawsuits, your wife doesn't get bothered, right? Thank God, God protect.
You are such a lucky guy. You survived 1 year already. You say it. You are lucky. We are not even getting 12 years ago.
So would this be
Yes.
resolution?
We still have
Oh, yeah, now.
Come on.
Yeah.
No matter.
I was threatening all of us for that.
Okay.
Lawsuit.
It is.
We have to really look into it.
Yeah. Okay, we're back on the record.
Yeah. Well, we have the motion
Right, so-
second to get out.
Can we have a motion to exit executive session and return to open session?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Liang, seconded by Councilmember Kapsaskis. Roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, we have a motion. What would, if we're gonna add a resolution, what would be the number?
It would be 97.
97?
Yeah.
Okay. So can we have a motion to add resolution 2026-97 to the agenda?
Yes.
And I'll read the title and then we can read the whole thing later. Resolution authorizing Donald Burke, ESQ, as special counsel to represent Mayor Park individually in pending litigation.
Motion.
Motion to add. Second. Second by Councilman
Motion by
Francis.
Councilman Patel, seconded by Councilman Kapsiskis. On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskis.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Okay, if Mr. Chowdhury would read the proposed resolution into
Yeah,
the
sure.
record.
This resolution, 2026-97, resolution authorizing Donald Burke Esquire as special counsel to represent Mayor Mark Park individually in pending litigation. Whereas the borough has been named as a defendant in litigation entitled Albert H. Wanch III versus the Borough of Englewood Cliffs, Mayor Mark Park, Councilman Philip Z. Liang, and Councilperson Rivka Begats under docket number Burr-L. -7735-25, and for the record, we'd like to just correct Councilwoman's Begats' last name. It is misspelled, and it will be corrected. But whereas, pursuant to resolution number 25-250, Scott D. Salmon, Esquire of Jardum, Miser, Salmon, Sprague, and Susser PC was authorized to represent the borough and all individual defendants in above referenced litigation. And whereas Mayor Mark Park has requested separate legal representation in his individual capacity in connection with the above referenced litigation. And whereas the governing body deems it appropriate to appoint Donald Burke Esquire to represent the individual interests of Mayor Mark Park. And whereas Donald Burke Esquire is qualified to serve as special counsel to represent Mayor Mark Park individually in this matter. And whereas the chief financial officer has certified the funds are available in legal services, other expenses appropriation under the previously approved professional services line item, subject to applicable laws and policies. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the Borough of Englewood Cliffs that Donald Burke Esquire is hereby authorized to serve as a special counsel to represent Mayor Mark Park individually in aforesaid litigation. Be it further resolved that Scott D. Salmon Esquire has been previously authorized under Resolution Number 25250, shall continue to represent the borough and the remaining defendants in the matter. And then the certification, which is I hereby certify this resolution consisting of 2 pages, were adopted at the regular meeting of the Borough Council on the 11th day of February 2026. We need a motion and second to adopt this resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Patel and seconded by Councilman Kapsaskis. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
On roll call, Councilwoman Begets.
Yes.
Councilman Liang.
Yes.
Councilman Patel.
Yes.
Councilman Kapsiskas.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Katrubis absent. Motion carries.
Any old and new business? Any additional old or new business items? Okay, Mayor, we just need to do a motion second to adjourn if you want to ask. Mayor, just turn on your mic, please, so we can hear for the record.
I need a motion and second to adjourn
Make a
this
motion.
meeting.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Liang, seconded by Councilman Patel. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Absent is Councilman Katrubis. The meeting is the motion passes, and the meeting has been adjourned at 9:33 p.m. Mayor, you can hit the gavel.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Nobody say
Okay.
anything. Yeah. Beauty, can I end it from here? Should I end it
Yes.
from here?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you. Is it gonna save on my laptop or is it gonna save on the OBS?
I think it's gonna save on your OBS.
Okay. All right. Just make sure Matt double checks that for your minutes.
Freshman only.
All right. Let me X this out.
Mhm.
Where's the stack? Where's the broadcast?
And broadcast.
Okay.
You can hardly open your
And?
Should.
No, my
Takes time.
And then I'm gonna hit